What's up, people? So these days you have seen, you get to see many UCCW clock widgets, then all those awesome shortcuts that they display, and you wonder how to create one of them, how to begin with it. So here's a tutorial on how to do that. You can even create your APKs and publish them on the Google Play Store. So this is a tutorial on how to get on with the basics of the UCCW. And the UCCW probably stands for Ultimate Custom Clock Widget. Yeah, that's right. It's Ultimate Custom Clock Widget. So get on with me and see how to do that. Let's start with it, people. So at the end of the video your widget will look something like this one. It is, the most minimal one you can create on the UCCW. There's the date, the time, it's displaying the AM PM, then your day, date and month. You have those missed calls and the unread messages, and there down there's there's the battery bar with the battery percentage right below it. So for the time being I'm gonna remove it from here. Yep. So you need to be running a custom launcher, and it can be easily downloaded. I don't mind if it's a free version or the paid version. It works on both of them. So right now I'm running the Nova launcher, and this is the free version that I'm running. So before starting, you can you can do it with any custom launcher. The SS launcher would be the best for it, for creating really awesome widgets, and not the widgets, especially the home screens, for creating really custom awesome home screens. And then you can even use your Apex launcher, even that would be fine. So I'm gonna start with the settings that you will have to do before starting the editing. So long click on the home screen and click on this right side tool, which is gonna take you to the Nova settings. I'm gonna just zoom in the phone now. Get on to desktop, and you need to choose the desktop grid to 8 by 7. See, it's 8 by 7. That would be pretty much fine for an MDPI phone, or in that case even for a HDPI phone it would be enough. Then you need to click this one, get onto the advanced option, click the advanced option, and you need to click on widget overlap, and then overlap when placing. So that way you could, you won't be, home screen won't look really messy if you allow the widget overlap. Else, now long click on the home screen again, get onto the widgets, and head on down to the UCCW, and choose a 4 by 2. Yep, a 4 by 2 widget would be really nice to start with, and click on new. Now it says touch here. If you can see, I don't know, my phone is my cam is really zooming properly or not. Okay, I'm gonna touch here, touch there, and it brings me to a brand new window in the UCCW. There's the white background with few controls at the bottom, and there's some stuff on the top. As you can see, new, open. Now let's get started with it. So let's get started on to editing our first widget. So first of all, since our widget is gonna be a vertical one, we need to modify the width and the height, and for that you need to choose background, which is already chosen when you will go to a new widget, and head on to control number 3, and there you need to choose the width 380 and height should be 420. So that way it's 380 by 420, and click on save. So that way you'll get a widget you will get a widget which is more vertical rather than horizontal. So now I'm gonna change the color of the widget to black. You can just select in there and you get this black widget. The next thing you are gonna do is add on time. Click close, and now get on to time. What for getting on to time, what you have to do is click on this click on where background is written, and then click on time. Then get on to color and choose any color that you want. You can go from red, yellow, orange, any color that you love. Now right now this is pretty much blue, cyan, so I'm gonna position it somewhere here. Okay, now I'm gonna close it. Get on to font and choose whatever you like to. I'll probably choose Space Age. Now that looks awesome. Next, click plus minus, to add items to the widget as it says. Click on AMPM, go back. Now do the same as you did for time. Click AMPM, get on to color, and this is a new feature that they have given in UCCW. You get all your recent colors you have chosen. So that way I chose blue here, so I get this one. Now I'm gonna position it. You can click faster movement to move the widget faster, and then you can uncheck the faster movement for your precise settings. Now since this is not coming, I'm not satisfied with the size, and also I'm gonna reduce the size. Now again, you have the precise settings with this plus and minus button, or you can just type in whatever size you want. How about 40? Yeah, just let me see how it gets fit in here. Yep, 40 would be nice. Now you can just close it here. Head on to control number 4, get on to fonts and choose the font what you choose for the time. You can choose any font if you really like to. So there we have our time set. The next thing is gonna be a date. Close, click AMPM, get on to date. Color would be same, the cyan blue. Now for the position, check on faster movement, get down, and you could just do some precise setting. Click close, get on to size, decrease it a bit so that the whole widget gets in. Okay, now what we can do is change a bit little of, creativity doesn't has any ends. It never ends, so you can just be as creative as you want. So that way I could just put into -90. I have changed the angle to -90 so that it fits in here. Now I'm gonna get on here and reduce my size to 35. Yeah, now that's cool. Now again I'm gonna choose the same font, that's Space Age. Now so since our widget isn't not coming the right way what I want, and it's overlapping the time, what I'm gonna do is get onto time, click on position, and just do some precise setting and move the time up. So that way you get a bit little more space for your date. The same I'm gonna do with PM, and I'm gonna click close, so you get your date right here. Now if you want, you can decrease the size of the time so that you can increase the size of the date. So I'm gonna make it 65. Oops, sorry. Yep, 65, that would be fine. and similarly I'm gonna decrease the size of the AM PM. I mean it's PM right now, so that way I made it 35. And what I can do next is get on to date and just do a bit little of precise setting right here. Yep, now this is what it looks like. Now since today is Wednesday and it's just 3 letters here, WED. Now tomorrow it's gonna be Thursday, so it is gonna be THURS, except for day everything, that's the short form, right? So there gonna be 5 letters, THURS, so this won't be filling here, and tomorrow this is gonna overlap, so you will have to think a bit little ahead of time. So that for that I'm gonna shift time a bit little towards right. The same I'm gonna do for the AM PM. Click on fast movements. Yep, now this is pretty much good. Now this looks fine. Now I can go to time, I can go to date, click on size. Yep, 37 would be fine. Just shift a bit little. Yeah, now tomorrow Thursday will easily be accommodated in that space. What next? We are gonna add on, yep, the battery bar. So to do that, click on plus minus and go all the way down to battery bar. Not all the way, it's much in the middle. So there we have our battery bar. Click close. There's the battery bar. Now the color that's green doesn't goes with the black and blue stuff, so that way we will have to change the color and everything else, the appearance, the size. So click on the top right there and go on to battery bar. Now first of all you can change the color to blue. No, this would be black. Yep, the background of the battery bar should be black. Now what next you're gonna do is get on to width and decrease it a bit. Now this is the width. Actually this should actually be height, but they have put this in the width, so 300 would be fine. Width, and now this is the width. You see, this is pretty much what's not normal right here, but still you will have to manage with it. 1 decrease the height to about 50. Next you're gonna go to height. Now on control number 5, height is of the background and not of the battery bar. So yeah, that's right. And you can click on roundness if you want to. You see that the corners become round, but I don't really like this roundness, so I'm gonna put it on to 0. Now you will have to position your sidebar first. Click on fast movement, get it down. So here you get your battery bar. Now what next? This thing offers pretty much an intuitive interface. Now here you can choose the color of the battery bar. Now if your battery is greater than 30, it could be blue like it's now. Since I got enough battery, I mean it's pretty much like 88-89%. The next thing you're gonna do is, if your battery is greater than 15%, it could be yellow. If it's greater than 5%, it could be, yep, since it's showing orange, I'll go with it. And if it's less than 0, it could be red. So that way you get a different gradient for different percentage of your battery. What next you're gonna do is go to plus minus once again and add an item to the widget, which is the battery level. So click close. You have added the battery level. Now click on the battery bar to select the item. There's the I have chosen the battery level. Now I'm gonna get onto color and select the color. So you will have to, the widget many times, the stuff you add into the widget, it overlaps with other items, so that way you will have to distinguish it. You can choose a different color in the starting. Initially you can choose a different color just to distinguish it from the rest of the widget, rest of the items that are present, and then you can choose it. Now get onto fonts, and it would be of course Passage. So that way I have got this 85 written. Now this doesn't really seem it's my battery percentage. It could be 85 degree Fahrenheit, or it could be anything. So for that I will have to use suffix, and I'm gonna put in a percentage sign right there. Click OK, and there, boom, you get 85%. So that way it shows, yep, that there's an 85% battery left. Next you're gonna do is add on all the way down. I think I have, yep, there's the missed calls and text messages. So first we are gonna add on missed calls. Click close, click select missed calls. You can choose the color, of course, cyan. Now you can choose any color. I'm just loving this combination, and the widget I showed you at the starting was of this color, so that is why I am making all the stuff look like blue and black. So that is why. Now what you're gonna do next is click on prefix. Now since it's written 0, and we won't be knowing it's the missed calls or the unread messages, which we are gonna add later on, we will have to prefix it with missed calls. Click OK, and there you get your missed calls. This is pretty much big, so I'm gonna lower the case, and the size is gonna be pretty much small. Just keep on decreasing until you are satisfied. So there you get. Now since the calls and 0, there is no space, what we can do is click on prefix, and after missed calls give 2 or 3 spaces. Now that way it goes there. You see that? I'll just do that again. If there are no spaces, it will look like this, and if you give in a few spaces, at the end after S in calls, just 2 spaces, okay, 0 shifts to a bit little right, and this looks pretty much realistic. Now the next thing you would love to add is what would be next? Yep, there would be the unread messages. So text messages, just choose them, click click close, and from the items selection bar or the objects selection bar, click on text messages, click color 0. Now there at the top left corner you get that. Now you can just move in here and decrease the size to pretty much similar to the above widget. 60 would be, no, even 60 is big. We'll solve it later on after adding the prefix. Now get on to prefix and click type in unread. Yep, unread would be fine. I don't really prefer writing the whole stuff unread messages, as it would be taking a hell lot of space. Now you could decrease the size to, let it be down here, 45, position, fast movement, and there you get your unread. Now this looks pretty much ugly with the D of unread, just there isn't any space between the word and the missed call, the unread message count. So that way this looks pretty ugly. So again we are gonna do the same thing what we did for the missed calls. We are gonna put in 2 spaces and click OK. Now this doesn't really looks awesome, cause the the count of the missed calls is much towards the right, whereas the unread messages is on to left. So what we can do is put in more spaces until it goes on, until the 0 comes under the missed call count. So that way this looks pretty much neat. And finally, if you want to add a bar or a line, what you can do is, as I showed you in the widget I made previously, you can go on to shape, click on shape 1, click close. From the select object bar, the drop down menu, click shape 1. Now this is the shape that you have got right here. Now you could choose the color somewhat different. I'll choose white. Now head on to the last control, that's control number 4. Click on style, click the first option, that's line. Now you could reduce the, now what was there in the battery bar is the same thing goes for this shape. Width is the length, not the thickness. So that way increasing the width increases the length, as you can see, and height is the thickness. So just by reducing the thickness, just by increasing the height, you can increase the thickness. So I'm gonna put on the thickness to 2 and position it somewhat like so, like this, and increase the width to about 330. Yep, now this looks pretty much decent. So that is it, people. Your widget is ready. So this is, pretty much similar in looks, which I showed you in the starting. Now what you need to do next is, you have lots of option to save your widget as a simple skin, and if you want to share your widget with anyone, you can save it as a uzip. If you want to make an APK skin and publish it on the Google Play, as I said in the starting of the video, you can do that. And if you want to create a .png, or instead of taking the screenshot, you wanna just save this image as in the gallery, you can click on save as image. So whatever you like, do. Now the most important part that I forgot and put in this saving stuff in front of you is the hotspots. I just forgot to mention the hotspots. Now what are hotspots? Hotspots are those spaces, or you could say those spots, which upon clicking pop up a app. Now for example, there is hotspot number 1. You need to position it somewhere like, look, it came from nowhere. So if I put it on time and just adjust its thickness to the length of my widget, position it somewhat like that. Now I'm gonna click on hotspot and click an app. Now the app I choose will pop up when I click time, that's 212. The time, the app will pop up when I, what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so I'm gonna choose in here clock, and when I will click this thing in the widget, it will show up clock. Now don't forget to get onto the menu and click on the hotspot mode and switch it on. Okay, this should be on the on, not off, else when you will click this, nothing is gonna happen. Just let me reposition it, and then we are gonna save it for an APK. Okay, now we are gonna save it, make uzip for sharing. You can rename it to somewhat like my YouTube tutorial. Okay, now you can click on OK. It's exporting the skin, and boom, it's saved. Now what next you can do is, you can export your skin for making an APK file. So go go on to save, click on the third option, that's make zip for APK skin, and here you can rename your skin anything, and then down here it says select editable properties below, so that way if any person installs your APK skin that's you have just made, then you have to assign all those properties which the person can edit on himself. I mean, you know, if you choose on the mist call colors, he will be able to choose the he will be able to change the color of the unread count of the missed calls, and you know, all that stuff. Now if you have hotspots in your video, do make them editable, cause you know, we don't know what app a person uses for his gallery. Is it the stock one, or is it the, you know, something like my million movements or quick pick, or you know, any other stuff. So that way, so I make the hotspot editable, I click OK, and it says my YouTube tutorial skill already exists and I want to overwrite it. Click yes.